Now, Senior Wealth Advisor Leslie McCormick of the Farwell Group, author of Bank on Yourself, Why Every Woman Should Plan to Be Financially Single Even If She's Not, joins us. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning, Marilyn.
What do you have for us today?
Today, I'd like to continue talking about foundations for making good financial decisions during times of life change. Last week, I talked about a tool that we use called the decision-free zone that Susan Bradley, author of Sudden Money, created. If you recall, when someone is feeling overwhelmed by the thoughts, considerations, and decisions that they're contemplating, we make a long list of them. We listen to understand what is most pressing and why, and then sort the list into things that do need to be done or decided now, what can be dealt with soon, and what can maybe be put off until later. It's a way of bringing order to a situation that may otherwise feel chaotic or overwhelming. What a decision-free zone is not is permission to do nothing. Rather, it's about prioritizing and identifying what truly needs your focus. Last week, I talked about Carolyn, who had lost her husband about 6 months before we met. And the things that were on her mind were concern about the future and some very big decisions that she was contemplating. This tool helped her decide to push off to later the sorts of decisions that there was no going back from once they were made, and possibly of the variety that she could truly come to regret in time. This tool helped her defer some of those higher risk decisions and instead first focus on making sure she would be financially okay for her lifetime. These conversations with Carolyn had started about 6 months after she became a widow. I'm often asked by clients or contacts, my sister or my friend just lost their husband. I think she should do, you name it, you fill in the blank. What do you think? And it's true. Everyone always has an opinion about what someone else should do. However, immediately after someone loses their spouse, unless there is some absolutely extenuating circumstance that necessitates quick decisions, voicing these opinions at that time is often the opposite of helpful. It can instead be overwhelming. Instead, I share with them the 3 things we recommend newly widowed people do. First of all, establish your team. An accountant, a lawyer, financial advisor, maybe even a trust company. These people ideally don't give you a long list of things to do, but rather identify for you just those steps that must be taken right away. Because there are things that are time sensitive and do actually need immediate attention. But there's also a lot that can wait for a while. These professionals who will help you through the estate process should also reassure you that they'll keep you on track for what comes next when the time's right. Secondly, organize. Keep a journal to make notes of your conversations with your team. Many times people simply can't remember the details of a conversation. Make notes that you can refer back to if you need. And keep a file for statements and items that come in the mail that you may need to deal with in the future when you're ready. Finally, make sure that person has enough cash flow for the next 6 months. Having income, having access to money is financial security. It's the number one thing we concern ourselves with for a client who has lost their spouse. Making sure they don't need to worry about how they're going to pay their bills on top of everything else. When the time comes, yes, longer-term planning will be needed, but that's soon, not now. First, we simply need to help them through.
So basically, it's something that everybody goes through at some point in their life, and there's an established protocol that can lighten the load so that things can be put on the back burner. If someone is widowed or knows someone who is widowed that needs to have this discussion and get some guidance, what do you suggest we do?
You can give us a call at 416-863-7501, and we'd be happy to have a guiding conversation with you.
So if you want to know more about the decision-free zone and lightening the load and really knowing what to do when, the best thing to do is sit down with an advisor and make a path. And if you'd like to sit down with Leslie and Darren and the Farwell team, it's available to you. They're experts. They have this path and plan. They deal with widows all the time. All you have to do is call 416-863-7501. I'll repeat the number, 416-863-7501. It never hurts to have good information and be confident that you're doing the right thing. And for sure, having a worry-free zone as well as a decision-free zone would be helpful. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Marilyn.
I do have signed copies of your book at my store, Marilyn's, and I'm more than happy to provide them and mail them out for anyone who wishes to give them as a gift. The holiday season is coming.